Yo, we're back. I'm going to cast probably 3 more of the new player replays. These are from our event where we gave out the DLC keys for people who came to our server and played some games with us. So that was fun and nice. And these are guaranteed replays. Now I'm going to do the little spiel I did at the start of the last one again. 2 things. 1, normally videos I release standalone, I review the replays ahead of time at ×4 speeds because I don't really want to spoil for myself what happens, but I do look to see if the army compositions were interesting, and I look to see if the game was relatively close and people didn't leave units standing around for an absurd amount of time. These replays are not going to be that because they are the winners of a contest where the players decided what they sent me, so for all I know, these are going to be horrendous stomps. And player just wanted to show how well they did, which is fine. They can use their tournament, their event reward however they want to. I'm not judging. Just saying if some of them are stomps, don't complain in the comments where it's like, no, the player just wanted to show that they did really well, and that's fine. We can celebrate that. On the other side of things, also, since the player themselves sent this to me, I will be mostly talking about their performance, not as much their opponents. If you happen to be one of their opponents, I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just trying to give them the reward they deserve for participating in our event. So I'm going to comment on their army compositions, on their play, and suggest improvements. And the other player will be kind of treated, you know, with a little less focus because it's not their replay. If they've probably sent me a replay for this event and they got their own focused thing. So it's only fair to do that for everybody, right? Right. Okay. So there you go. It'll be slightly different than our normal content for those reasons. And let's just go to the bottom and keep working our way up as I have been. So we have Duck Shark versus K Turtle, Nurgle versus Dwarves. Ooh. Nurgle versus Dwarves can be a pretty tough matchup. And K Turtle looks to have a solid build, though it is pretty funny looking. He has a flame focused build. I'm gonna guess that Thoric has Rune of Wrath and Ruin just to finish the fire theme is what I'm gonna guess. He does. Okay, cool. So for the dwarf build, this is not the player who sent it in, so I'll be quick, but we have 2 gyrocopters with brimstone guns for fire damage, Thoric Ironbrow with Rune of Wrath and Ruin for more fire damage, and then Rune of Doom. And then we have 4 Iron Drakes, fire damage, blasting charges with fire damage, front line of dwarf warriors as well, and then a flame cannon. One, haha, think it's a funny meme. Sure, maybe. Also, Nurgle does rely on healing and high HP, both of which Iron Drakes, flame cannons, and the fire damage in general is good against. This is to reduce a lot of Nurgle's healing, and can be pretty sneaky with some of that. And a lot of these things also have the burnt debuff, which is really good against demonic units. So while it might be a meme, it's also pretty effective here. For the player's army, we have a Demon Prince of Nurgle with Spirit Leech and Fleshy Abundance for spells, which is fine. Stream Corruption's bound, doesn't count as window magic. Plague Bearers, Nurglings, Marauders with great weapons, including Worshippers of the Crow. 2 Rot Knights, 2 Dogs, and 2 Furies. Okay, cool. Assessing your deployment's good. No real comments. You did a good job deploying your units in a nice spread out fashion, but also your flanks are here and they're arriving at about the same time as your front line, which is going to be pretty good. So I like that a lot. One thing I'm a little concerned about is having this many dogs versus dwarves, or I guess Chaos Furies, but I'm thinking of like high mobility, low damage units. Furies are a little better than dogs for this, but still, we couldn't run into the situation where you have so many things that are ready to chase the dwarves when they rout, but nothing is going to make them rout, so I'm getting a little concerned about your damage output on the back line. Rot Knights are fine. They're kind of an interesting unit to bring here. I don't know if they're the most effective, but I don't think they're troll either. I get it. Regenerating, you know, high armor, tanky, high weapon damage, most of it's armor piercings. That's fine. I get it. So I'd keep the 2 Furies, maybe have 1 dog, maybe not 2. Then your front line of Plague Bearers and Nurglings, and then Marauders with great weapons. I don't know what DLCs you have, but if you have access to Pestigors, which I think you do if you have Rot Knights, I forget what DLC they came with, but I think they came with Rot Knights. Pestigors have a bit more oomph in them than Marauders, because what Marauders are going to suffer against versus Dwarves is their low melee attack versus the Dwarves' high melee defense. So you have all the armor piercing you need, but you're just going to have difficulties actually landing hits. Plague Bearers are okay. Nurglings, in my opinion, are kind of wasted in this matchup. So what I would do is cut the dog we talked about before, cut both the Nurglings. You can keep the Plague Bearers, that's fine. And I would use all that money you got to buy, I think, 3 Pestigors. If you sell these 2 Marauders, you can keep the Worshippers of the Crow, because the Regiment Renown stats gives them a little bit more punching power to get through those Dwarves. But yeah, I think if you sell those 5 units, you can afford 3 Pestigors, which will do a bit better here. But everything else about your build is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Like, the Rot Knights aren't objectively bad. I don't know what to think of them because I don't see them a lot in this matchup, but I see the vision. I like it. I think your front line is going to run into a bit of, like, just kind of toilet paper slamming against a brick wall here. I don't think it's going to get through, but we'll see. I could be wrong. All right, flame cannons are starting out. They're lighting up your front line, but you have already disrupted Iron Drakes and Miners Blasting Charges on the flanks. Pretty good stuff, punishing the Dwarves for maybe being a little too spread out, and they do need to start turning and defending themselves, like the Iron Drakes need to turn. And they're currently all trying to focus fire Demon Prince of Nurgle, which is a bad call from them. He's pretty tanky against all this fire damage, and yeah, he's going to be just fine. So while they're trying to kill him, which is not going to work, you are shutting down a lot of their ranged units, which is very good. So nice job. And the dogs here, they're disrupting a lot of stuff. I was more worried they'd get hit with Iron Drakes and get instantly routed, but the Iron Drakes aren't focusing on them, which is a mistake from your opponent. But, you know, you're making the most of it, which is nice. But I'm just, why I said you might want to cut one is like this. Like, I mean, these guys have been on the Iron Drakes forever and they're still not killing them. So if your opponent was a little more focused and disciplined, they would have routed already and not really achieved much. So I think one is fine, but both of them got onto Iron Drakes, both of them shut them down. The Rot Knights are doing very well, which is nice to see. Again, I don't see them as matchup much, so I'm kind of watching them to see how they do to form an opinion on them, and they seem to be doing very well, which is quite good. If the enemy had Slayers, you want to avoid that, but there are no Slayers here, so they're just going to run amok, apparently, which is nice. Frontline is having a bit of a time, though. Even the Miners of Blasting Charges are holding for quite a while against the Marauders, so my fears there seem to be a little founded, but you're doing so well in the back line, it's not going to matter. You're going to be fine. You're kind of running away with this game already. We're only 2 minutes in, so really good job. Good for you. Dwarf Warrior is getting run down by Rot Knights. They'll hold for quite a while, but still you'll get good trades out. And these Brimstone Gyrocopters are firing into all your dudes. Just trying to debuff them, get rid of them. Not doing crazy amounts of damage, but it's consistent and it's good. Dogs are getting close to routing. We have a Fecundity going down. Most of this shit's on fire, so I don't know how much it's really going to get to heal from it. And still the Plague Bearers are trying to get through that front line. But at least they're tanky. That's why I said they're probably fine to keep, is they're just so tanky. They're still here. We've already lost a Nurgling, I think, and multiple Marauders are thinking about leaving. So yeah, I'm more underwhelmed with those units as we said it on the intro, but Plague Bearers are fine because you don't expect them to get through the front line quickly, but you also, they just don't die, which is good. It's good. Demon Prince of Nurgle sniping out Thoric, very good. After he's gotten nerfs recently, he's not nearly as scary of a melee combat as he was before, but you do need to be a little careful here. You're getting nice and low on HP, which means your leadership's dipping while you're also burnt. It looks like you're going for a heal, which is smart. You need it. It would have been nice to save it until you were not on fire, but I think the situation is desperate enough you needed it. Because the only way the Dwarves win now is killing your Lord, and that's somehow causing enough of a leadership shock to like get rid of some of your demonic units, your dogs and stuff. But I think even if your Lord dies, the Rot Knights are able to carry this. I just don't see anything the Dwarves have left that can really stop the Rot Knights. You know, like we said before, no Slayers, no Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes, no Thunderers, no cannons that are left operational or anything, so your Rot Knights are actually going to be able to solo carry this. So yeah, I think even if your Lord dies, you can win. That doesn't mean you should just throw your Lord's life away though, so I'm glad you're keeping him alive, but just saying, it wouldn't cost you the game. I think this is beyond all repair for the Dwarves, honestly. Nothing they can do. Oh well. I mean, it's good habits to keep your Lord alive and not throw him away for games that are a little closer and more important that he lives. No reason to get into the bad habit of just letting him die for no reason, so nice job. Chasing the Gyrocopters in melee, making sure they can't get too much damage on you. Still getting pretty low. You're spooking me. Rot Knights running everything down. Nice control there. Pretty impressed so far with your abilities to chase everything down and keep microing stuff, because in a lot of newer player replays, that's the type of stuff that's going to get dropped. Like, you're just going to see dogs sitting in the middle of nowhere with something that's already dead, or rot knights waiting on the edge of the map after something they ran off. So yeah, you did a really good job making sure to keep reprioritizing everybody. So really good game from Duck Shark. I like that a lot. Good shit, brother. Good shit. Rot knights, good value. Plague bearers, not amazing value, but they did their jobs. Marauders are great weapons, more mixed. Nurglings, yeah, they just got wrecked. Dogs did pretty well. For K-Turtle, I liked the build. The build was very creative. With dwarves, they're so naturally static and slow, it's hard to really like see any micro mistakes. So I don't know. You kept your if K-Turtle is watching this, you kept your gyrocopters moving. You kept them alive all game despite constant pressure from the Demon Lord and Furies off and on, so that's pretty good. But as I said in the early game, your Iron Drakes needed to turn and clear out the chaff, like the dogs, the Furies, and then start prioritizing the Rot Knights. The Flamethrower variant are pretty ass against single entities, as we saw. The Iron Drake Trollhammer Torpedo variant is the exact opposite. They're amazing versus single entities, and they're pretty bad versus chaff. So you need to switch the priority of those weapons teams, unfortunately for you, but otherwise a pretty fine game. All right, next up is Curie, and then I'm going to skip Tyrus for now. I will get back to it, but I don't want to cast 2 Bretonnia games in a row, so I'll skip to something else, but for now we'll do Curie, who's right here. Kirianu versus Atom Blitz, Chaos Dwarves, and Bretonnia, and that appears to be the Skullcracker Iron Demon? The Iron Demon Dreadquake Mortar? Or is it? It's hard to tell with Chaos Dwarves, man. A lot of their stuff is so expensive that you're like, is this a normal build? Okay, it is just the Iron Demon. Where's all your money? Okay, well, whatever. Let's assess the builds. So, Bretonnia, real quick, what did they bring? Questing Knights, Pegasus Knights, Knights of the Realm, and Knights of the Realm. So, a decent amount of anti-large or armor-piercing in their Knights versus Chaos Dwarves is fine. Peasant Mobs, Men-at-Arms, we have a Grail Relic, a Trebuchet, a Damsel of Life with Awakening of the Wood, interestingly enough, and Earthblood. And then we have Alberic with a lot of his abilities. Okay, pretty solid build. Again, I'm not going to comment too much on it because it's not this person's replay and I don't want this to take forever, but it's fine. This is a tough matchup for Bretonnia, honestly, versus the Chaos Dwarves. Heavily armored infantry is not their favorite thing to deal with. A lot of shooting isn't always their favorite thing to deal with. And then big single entities also aren't always their favorite thing to deal with. And the Chaos Dwarves could bring all of those things. So tough matchup. Seems like a fine build. Questing Knights could do decent damage versus, I mean, the Iron Demon that's here, or they could cycle charge Infernal Ironsworn or whatever. So, yeah, I like it. Good Bretonnia build. For the Chaos Dwarves, Orc Laborers mixed with Chaos Dwarf Warrior front line. Solid. It's a solid front line, especially against Bretonnia. Chaos Dwarves can actually do a lot of work, so that's pretty good. Hobgoblin Archers, 1 Chaos Dwarf Blunderbuss, 1 Infernal Guard Fireglaves, then 2 Bull Centaur Renders with great weapons. Astrogoth with Ashstorm and Flaming Sword of Ruin. Okay. And then we have an Iron Demon regular. Sorry, I'm just accumulating my thoughts. And Hobgoblin Sneaky Kids. Okay. Oh, hey, there's the Green Knight. That's where some of Bretonnia's money went. He's very good against Chaos Dwarves. They don't have a lot of melee magic damage in their roster, and he's really, really good at hunting down Chaos Dwarf Lords or Iron Demons, so missed that flanking one. As for the Chaos Dwarf army, I like your deployment overall. The build is fine. The build's fine. I don't know if it's the most optimal thing, because it feels like you went a little bit of everything, and Chaos Dwarves are generally better at just punishing one thing. I think... So here's what I'll say. Your build's fine. Anything I do from this point is a nitpick. I don't think you made any true mistakes. But against Bretonnia specifically, I think the Bull Centaur Renders with great weapons are exactly what Bretonnia is hoping to fight of their bad options. Because they're, they could have Grail Knights that are decent. Questing Knights with Alberic backing them up are decent. So they love fighting Cav versus Cav generally. And Bull Centaur Renders don't have the highest armor. So it's fine versus Bretonnia. Bretonnia is also fine versus them. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's not a bad pick, but it's not a bad pick for them either. It's just fine. It's neutral. Both of you have tools. I think you could be a little more abusive and take some stuff that Bretonnia actually really struggles with, like the Iron Demon, which you brought, or a Bale Taurus Lord, or a bunch more armor-piercing missiles. But yeah, your build's like fine. No problems with it, really. I like it. It's good. I might put a little more space between the Fireglaves and the Blunderbuss, because if you got one Cav unit in here, it could actually muck both of them up at the same time, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. One Hobgoblin Sneaky Get is a pretty low investment. I like that you put it in the back line, so if he leaves his field trap open, which can happen in this matchup, Hobgoblin Sneaky Get can just appear and pay for itself by killing it instantly. It's quite nice. Or if they have archers still, you could pay for it. If they trade 1-for-1 with archers before knights come back and kill them, then that already paid for itself, which is fine. Cool. Cool. I personally am an Ash Storm hater, but again, there's a difference between something that I think is objectively a mistake and just something I personally wouldn't do, and I try to avoid saying too much stuff that I personally wouldn't do, because then it like implies that you fucked up, which you didn't. Your spell choice is good, your build's good. It's fine. We're moving up. Moving on up. Up. Astrogoth's going to charge some peasant mobs for fun and for free. The Iron Demon's also coming in. I don't love that both the Bull Centaur renders left the backline completely on its own. The blunderbusses are now getting run down by the Green Knight. Yeah, these guys should be back here peeling. It looks like they're going to hopefully get into a big blob fight, which would be good for them. Ash Storm is down, but we actually have a shockingly low amount of fire damage, so you have to combo with that Flaming Sword of Ruin you brought, and if you don't have enough Winds of Magic to do both, then unfortunately this combo is going to be a little lackluster, because the Bull Centaur renders don't have natural fire damage. Now they have some. There we go. So we're in Ash Storm with Flaming Sword of Ruin. That should do a lot of damage to them for them, so good combo. But we are seeing something in the backline that I was worried about. So you're getting a great engagement over there. That's fantastic. Perfect. Good for you. Like, no one is saying this engagement is going badly. That was a really cool trap you set, and that's going great. The problem I have is we just lost like a 900 gold blunderbuss for literally no reason, and the Fireglaive is currently mucked up, but it looks like it should be okay there. It's surrounded by enough Chaos Dwarf Warriors. But like, the blunderbuss needed to stay near the Chaos Dwarf Warriors if the Bull Centaur renders weren't going to peel for them, and we also have a Hobgoblin Archer out, so the range units kind of lost the plot a little bit, and they're getting sacrificed for free while you're making a fantastic play over here, which is great. But if the Bull Centaur renders aren't going to be playing defensive, then you need to position your stuff a little closer to the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. And again, I did say the start of the game, I was like, don't put them too close together, but also like, don't put them too far away. So probably the ideal spacing would be if that blunderbuss was getting caught like here, because then one of these two Chaos Dwarf Warriors could walk over and harass and be annoying while the other one still peels for the Fireglaives. And when that Questing Knight breaks, the Fireglaive could turn and fire on the units harassing your blunderbusses, but it's just so far out, there's nothing defending it. And honestly, the Hobgoblin Archers are probably about to suffer the same fate. It's a little criticism there, but I mean, this trap was beautiful. These Pegasus Knights are already routing, severely damaged. Questing Knights are severely damaged. That's a ton of value for you. Really good stuff over there. Looks like the Knights of the Realm and the Green Knight are actually going to join the fight to try and bail out these other Questing Knights, who did overstay their welcome in heavily armored, armor-piercing infantry of the Chaos Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. And now we have a bit of a blob going on, but Bretonnian cavalry is not good at killing armored infantry, as we mentioned before, so even though you're getting surrounded on all sides and beaten up, really, you're going to be fine. Meanwhile, Alberic is hunting the Iron Demon and getting actually pretty good damage out, but the Bull Centaur renders and Astrogoth are here to peel him a little bit. Hobgoblin Sneaky did get to the trebuchets while we were looking at other stuff. You can see the dead peasants, the Hobgoblins left behind, and now they're running up to flank the men-at-arms. Another Ash Storm, slowing down Alberic and making him weak to Astrogoth specifically. Again, the Bull Centaur renders don't actually have any fire damage to combo off that yet. Awakening the Wood as the Damsel of Life shuts down the Hobgoblin Archers, though she herself is taking actually a lot of damage in melee with them, which is not good. The blunderbusses are back, getting good shots onto the Knights of the Realm, who are now charging back to shut them down once again. But this is tough. The Green Knight doesn't want to be grinding with all these infantry. His terror is nice and stuff, but he wants to be hunting down Astrogoth and the Iron Demon with Alberic. He doesn't want to be cleaning up all this random bullshit. So he's having a tough time, not probably getting a lot of value. Meanwhile, the rest of the Bretonnian army is getting murked. It was mostly peasants, so their job is to get murked. But the knights are feeling the attrition too, right? They haven't been having a great time, which is tough. Alberic jumping back in, getting good damage on the Iron Demon while Pegasus Knights are nearby. And the Green Knight is still very healthy, so Bretonnia's not out of this game yet. They're in trouble, but they're not out of this game yet. Another Ash Storm to try and slow down Alberic, but again, the fire damage combo just really isn't there. So it's just kind of a 25% slow. Bretonnian Knights take the high ground with their Damsel of Life. They could get some healing here while leaving the Green Knight behind to bump and grind with the best of them. For the Chaos Dwarves, their infantry is largely still pretty healthy. Their Bull Centaur Renders are pretty healthy as well. Ashgoth is full health. So really all that they've suffered is most of the Iron Demon's health, and their ranged units are pretty much a spent force. Bull Centaur Renders getting downhill charged by a cluster of knights, all buffed up by Alberic's Braid of Portalo. This is going to be a pretty bad trade for them. But they do have a second Bull Centaur Render coming in, and there's that Flaming Sword of Ruin. But now there's no Ash Storm to run with it, so... The Green Knight needs to get out of here. He's just grinding away on infantry, but he is needed in this topside fight. His terror would be good, his consistent damage would be good, and his ability to take pressure off the knights, because if the Bull Centaurs try and attack him, they'll group up and not really attack the knights who can hit them from behind. Bretonnia's backing off to heal, which is pretty fine. You know, got the Pegasus Knights and Questing Knights. How did the Grail Relic get all the way over here? It was like on the other side of the map. What the hell? Barrack throws down a Trident of Manon. Not using it for its leadership debuff, though. Otherwise, he would have paired it with a charge. Then he could have routed off a lot of stuff. This is getting scary. Astrogoth is fighting the Green Knight, trying to use his magic damage, but he's just not nearly as good of a combatant as the Green Knight is. 8450 for his melee stats. And there goes an Ash Storm again, trying to just get some extra damage out. Iron Demon's running back in, but this is what the Green Knight wanted to be doing all game. Absolutely bullying Astrogoth. Blob fight starts to occur. Multiple Bull Centaur Renders versus the last Knights of Bretonnia. Hobgoblin Archers firing in. Pairing a little bit with the Ash Storm fire damage, but just going to get a little poke. And if they force the Damsel to heal while they're shooting them, the fire damage again will reduce that healing. We do have some Infernal Guard Fireglaives also back. Their armor Christic shots will be nice. Slow, consistent damage as the Knights of the Realm and Questing Knights are trying to get out of here, but it's not going great for them. Pegasus Knights, Alberic, and the Green Knight back with the healer, and now it looks like they're going to charge in once again. Iron Demon is rolling through the Bretonnian Knights. I'm curious if the Green Knight is going to target the Iron Demon or Astrogoth. Looks like he's actually just going to pile in onto Bull Centaur Renders, who are... Ooh, no! They're trying to take out the Grail Relic, and I know it's tempting to take out that support piece isolated, but that does open you up to rear charges. Thankfully, the Pegasus Knights are busy with the ranged units, which is it's a fine choice for them. Not criticizing that, but it is nice for the Bull Centaurs to not get rear charged for that kind of thing. Alberic and the Green Knight in here getting decent damage out. Bull Centaur Renders, for all the negative things I say about them, their leadership is not one of them. Their leadership is very, very good, so they're not even close to routing. And they're actually maybe going to muck up Alberic and take him down. Meanwhile, Questing Knights and Knights of the Realm were too damaged to actually finish off the Iron Demon. It looks like the Green Knight's going to do it himself. Charges in. Looks like in 3 more attacks he'll kill that Iron Demon. Astrogoth runs up to offer a little bit of peel. And Alberic is nowhere nearby, leaving the Green Knight on his own. Green Knight can beat up Astrogoth 1v1, but surrounded by Bull Centaur Renders, he's not going to have a good time of it. He is trying to retreat. Damsel's very low. Alberic's very low. Pegasus Knight's still very low as well. Besides the Green Knights, the Bretonnians are looking pretty rough. Bull Centaur Renders charge back in, and Earthblood for the road. Though there is going to still be a decent amount of fire damage in and around here. Astrogoth is once again doing it. In comes the Terror Outs for the Knights and the Damsel. Alberic not terror outing just yet, is holding his ground. Iron Demon is very low on HP. Astrogoth is very low on HP, so are the Bull Centaur Renders, but they're all holding for now. Leaving the Green Knight on his own. Alberic dies, which is probably the death knell for the balance of power of Bretonnia. They will get army lost, so everything besides the Green Knight will rout. But I honestly don't know if this game is decided just yet. I mean, the Green Knight is a powerful force. 2,300 HP, not looking too healthy, but man, his weapon strength is high, and the Bretonnia player throws in the towel, which, I mean, they were disfavored for sure. I don't know if they had lost yet, but it is what it is. For Curie, solid stuff. Orc Laborer is not going to get much value, but the Hobgoblin Sneaky Kids did very well. Chaos Dwarf Warriors did pretty well. Hobgoblin Archers and the Infernal Guard Fireglaives did well. Iron Demon did okay, and the Bull Center Runners did very nicely. For Adam, Alberic, the Green Knight, did well. Healing Caster did pretty nicely. The Infantry didn't do much, which is typical. Knights of the Realm did fine. Pegasus Knights did fine. Questing Knights did fine. Trevor did fine too. Pretty close game, apparently, if everything paid for itself. GG. And that takes us to the last one. Those took longer than I would have thought. This video is getting long in the tooth. Anything that looks like it'll be crisp and straight to the point. Oof. I mean, demons. One way or the other, this is ending quickly. Let's do Path to Power versus Jike to end out this video. Path to Power on the Demons Chaos, Jike on Tzeentch. Tzeentch is pretty strong against the Demons of Chaos since all of his units have magic damage, getting past the physical resistance of your entire roster. Okay, for the Demons of Chaos build, 4 Bloodletters, a Nurgling, Exalted Lord Change of Metal with just Searing Doom, 2 Seekers of Slaanesh, 2 Fiends of Slaanesh, and then something is behind my camera, 3 Chaos Furies of Slaanesh. Okay. On their side, Herald of Tzeentch with pink and blue fire, then Screamers, a front line of Chaos Warriors, and Marauders of Spears, blue and pink Horrors, including the Exalted Pink Horrors, Blazing Squealers, 2 Flamers, and a Severed Claw, Aspiring Champion. RLR. Neat. For your front line, I don't think it's a bad idea to have Bloodletters because the Severed Claw are actually quite popular, and Bloodletters can deal with them where a lot of other infantry can't. I'm gonna slow this down because apparently we're just fucking rolling. 4 might be a bit much. I wonder if you could do 3 Nurglings, 3 Bloodletters. So cut 2 Bloodletters for 2 more Nurglings to have a bit of width, and then you could spend the extra money wherever you really want to at that point. Because what did I say? 3 Nurglings, 2 Bloodletters. That'd be cutting these 2. That's 1,600 gold, and you'll only be spending 1,700. I guess you could cut 1 Bloodletter for 2 Nurglings if you really wanted to. Yeah, that seems fine. But just a bit more width, because Bloodletters are pretty susceptible to pink fire overcasts or getting shot by a bunch of blue horrors and taking a ton of damage. So I don't know about over-indexing them. Fiends are fine. Seekers are okay after they've been nerfed. Casters and Slaanesh are fine. So yeah, I think the rest of the build's fine. Maybe just grab a couple more Nurglings. Exalted Lord Change of Metal did overextend quite quickly, and Tzeentch has a lot of nets in their roster, which this guy didn't happen to bring, but that is a risky thing to get used to doing. You should be very careful, because if you get netted right there, you're dead. I mean, we already lost half our HP for a bit of no reason, so a little bit of a whoopsie. Got a little over-aggressive with your Lord, I get that, but nice job backing off and not over-committing to the play. Just gotta keep him alive for now. Chaos Furies beat up a Screamer, but now they do need new orders as they are standing in the firing lines. And we have some Fiends and Seekers that seem a bit confused about where they want to end up. Front lines have collided, which is great for the Demons of Chaos, and you, because your Bloodletters just want to get in there and start absolutely messing fools up. But your mobile units have got to keep moving. The Chaos Furies got a little lost in the sauce, as we can see. So we just lost 2 Chaos Furies, unfortunately, for free, and I'm not trying to be a dick, I'm just pointing it out. So that's a bit of rip, but nice job catching both the Screamers and killing them off, so that's been pretty good. Seekers are trying to go through the front line, which I don't necessarily hate. The Fiends are too. The flanks are pretty open from this Tzeentch build, so I think you also could have gotten to the flanks, but yeah, it's fine. You're getting through, you're getting out of the priority targets. Knocking out those Flamers, who are pretty expensive for how squishy they are, is going to be a worthwhile use of your time, but we do have to keep moving, so I hope when this fades away, the Seekers get new orders pretty quickly and get to safety. It does not look like they will, however, they're going to get stuck on Spears for a little bit. Furies are flying in. Bounce power is pretty bad for the Demons of Chaos, because the Bloodletters are winning the front line, but we are seeing why I'm scared of taking too many of them. One just faded away due to crossfires, and the other ones are through. Done enough damage, you got to keep moving. There we go. Some of them are getting new orders. Keep moving up. Like it. Fiends catch out the Flamers, and that's pretty important. You also caught the Herald of Tzeentch, so that's good, because we need to start making money moves. Your balance of power is your worst enemy. I don't actually think your state of the battlefield is that bad, but the balance of power is getting real close to army lossing you for literally no reason. So you just got to keep killing expensive units that have ammunition just to keep yourself in this game and, you know, possible to win, obviously. So, Seekers are feeling the pain, but both your Fiends are decently healthy considering how elite of units they are. They are getting stuck on basic spears in the Severed Claw, though, so they did need to back out. It looks like Demonic Instability is going to take them out at this point, so there's not too much you can do about it. Furies were not able to finish the Herald of Tzeentch, but they took half his HP, while Fiends are going to pick off some random Marauders with spears, so that's fine. That's fine. Other Fiends and Bloodletters trying to kill the Blazing Squealers. Now, one thing I am worried about, I guess we have a half-health Bloodletter over here, but we're running out of things that can kill the Severed Claw because the Bloodletters are getting attritioned out so badly. Exalted Lord of Change does dive onto the Herald of Tzeentch, getting decent damage on him as he pops Locus of Conjuration and Chromatic Tome. That is so much Winds of Magic regeneration. Okay, the Demons of Chaos are trying to slow this game down, kite it out as the Bloodletters get surrounded by Chaos Warriors and Marauders, but as long as they're getting to fight, they're finding a beautiful rear charge in from the Fiends. It's going to do a lot of impact damage, so that was nice. That was a good play. Like that a lot. Nice Searing Doom, try and punish a blobbed up Marauder with spears. Unfortunately, they are going to dodge some of it while chasing you. You can just get away, it's fine. Seekers need to find a new target, a new home, as Bloodletters are going to finish off Blue Horrors. Blue Fire hits your Exalted Lord Change in the back of the head, which is not ideal. This is a Bolt of Change. Who's it from? Both sides could be casting it. I think it is from Tzeentch onto the Fiends. I think. This could be really bad for Tzeentch, though. Nice pick. Noticing that the Herald of Tzeentch was stuck on the ground because he manually landed, apparently. Seekers are going to be able to nicely swarm him. Your Exalted Lord changes here. And I hope you just kill him. I hope you accept that your Seekers are going to die. But yep, there you go. Beautiful pick on the Lord of Tzeentch, making their army abilities nearly useless, and they can't recharge him anymore. Nice stuff. Good leadership shock you needed to. Marauders are routing. The Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch are starting to rout too pretty soon. So your late game play has been really good. Early game there was some mistakes and all the chaos, which can happen, but late game's been pretty solid. A little worried we don't have anything left to kill the Severed Claw. The Bloodletters are too damaged. And Fiends are okay if they cycle charge, but I mean the Severed Claw are halberd units, so they're usually here to murder your Fiends. Casting Searing Dooms. For all the damage your Lord gets out, you will be charging up army passive, so I hope we get some good army passives out of that you can cast and turn this game around. Fiends and Seekers need to be cycle charging or chasing stuff off, but these Fiends just sitting and bumping and grinding and all these spears and halberds is not going well for them, so I think I just saw them get orders to back off. No, that was the Exalted Lord's Change getting orders to back off. Seekers pile in for a rear charge penalty onto the Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch, but they're not quite routing yet. In comes a Terror-causing Lord. That'll get them to rout. And then hopefully you can just chase those units off and leave the Severed Claw for absolute last. Yeah, everything's routing except for the Severed Claw now. Seekers getting pretty damaged, though. Severed Claw have gotten their claws in them. That's not good. Fiends charging back in, Bloodletters staying in here as well, and the Exalted Lord of Change is just going to be spending some time chasing things off. Balance power is slightly against you. I think if you cycle charge effectively, you should be able to win, but it's still gonna be a hard journey. Severed Claw gonna get punished by Bloodletters briefly, mostly just trying to keep their shields down as the Fiends and the Lord are chasing other stuff. Seekers, what are you gonna do? Bloodletters are dying. In comes a Searing Doom. Severed Claw gonna dodge it for the most part. Bloodletters were dead anyway, though, so it's fine. How did their leadership rally? That's funny. Not for long, but it did. So Seekers, Fiends, and the Lord gonna chase stuff down. Severed Claw trying to get their barriers back, but it looks like the Seekers might have disrupted that for a second, even if it was accidental, as they just try and chase off these Marauders, try and chase off the Chaos Warriors. Exalted Lord of Change has got to get more damage out so we can get more army abilities. You can fast forward as we're chasing things. Dun, 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 dun. Another thing you can do if you're chasing stuff with one unit is have the other unit just rest, because as you can see, these guys are very tired, which lowers their stats and their leadership. So hopefully they'll just rest for a hot second. Shattered. Fiends coming back. Marauders of Spears instantly routed. Fiends are now trying to rest, exhausted, very tired, Searing Doom down. And in come the Fiends, in come the Seekers. Pretty good charges overall, like just for what you even can do. I haven't seen an army ability from the Demons of Chaos. I feel like we would have seen it by now, so I guess they just don't even have one charged up. Fiends get in, get some decent damage on the Severed Claw, lowering their melee defense and attack with that soporific musk, but their HP is dipping. Seekers are coming in as well. Severed Claw still have 6,000 HP, which is pretty brutal. Searing Doom down again, but these guys have been pretty good at dodging that so far, especially this late in the game. There's not too much to focus on besides dodging correctly. Seekers pounce and shatter a Marauder. Exalted Lord Change tries to cycle charge and get back out. The Seekers are going to dive back in. This is probably their last dive, though. They're just going to take too much damage, and they're going to die off. There we go. Relentless Rage. Ooh, I like that. Cannot die and Unyielding Assault. Gives them really good melee attack despite the fact that they are tired. That is actually really good use of Relentless Rage. Crazy close here in the late game. 6 HP on 6 models. Yes, they are all about to die as soon as Relentless Rage wears off, and still the Severed Claw are at half HP. It's just not enough. The demons cannot take them out. Final Searing Doom. But the Exalted Lord of Change can't kill these guys. He's not that good of a melee combatant compared to them. Very close game, though. Good game from Path to Power and Jake. Liked it. So the Bloodletters did pretty good overall. I liked it. Chaos Furies did okay. And Fiends did fine. Yeah, what really hurt you, considering how close that game was, I think when your 2 Chaos Furies towards the start killed the first Screamer, and then they didn't get new orders for a while, and they sat in front of blue and pink horrors and got murdered. I think that probably cost you the game, considering how crazy close it was. The armor-piercing Furies could have been nice for taking out Chaos Warriors a little quicker, helping you cycle charge the Severed Claw, helping you run stuff down. Like, they would have been key in the late game. So I don't think it's like your build couldn't win or anything. I think your build had plenty of good teeth in it. So yeah, solid stuff. I really do think the Bloodletters did great. I think having 3 Bloodletters and 3 Nurglings would be good. Just to have those Nurglings take some fights with Marauders so your Bloodletters could focus on fighting Chaos Warriors and such. Just food for thought, but it was a good game overall. You did solid. It seemed like your micro improved a lot the less units you had, which is good. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you have more units, there's more opportunities for mistakes, but your late game decision making was really, really good. So, yeah, shit happens. GG's. As you can see, I still have plenty of new player replays to cast, but those are for other videos. Roar. Subscribe, yes.